What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you guys with a quick video. We're going to talk about a hot topic that just became a rumor. And I usually don't talk about rumors, I only talk about things that's confirmed. But why not speculate? Because I'm a Celtics fan. So this is news that you want to hear because it will change your franchise and help you win games and compete for a championship, knowing that the only competition we have is Golden State, Houston, San Antonio, and obviously Cleveland. Hey, we got to make a move to beat those teams if you're trying to win a championship. Our team ain't getting any, younger, even though we got a lot of young pieces. But you got to remember, Al Horford getting older, Gordon Hayward almost 30, and Kyrie is in his mid-20s. But at the end of the day, you want to win as many championships as you can in general. It's not even about how young your team is, how bright the future is. The goal is to win a championship. And, we're almost there. We the number one team in the East still. 2 months later is almost January. And it looked like we're going to be the number one team in the East still and make a run at being the number one team in the NBA again. So the thing, as you can tell from the title, is that we're making a trade for Anthony Davis. Rumor wise, we don't really know if it's true. Obviously, Anthony Davis is one of the best players in the league, top 5, top 7 best players in the league. And honestly, it don't really make sense because Anthony Davis got 4 more years left on his contract, so they don't even have to get rid of him unless he asks for a trade. And I can see, like, he wants to go, let's get rid of him. But he still does have Boogie. Drew Holiday has stepped up, having a career year averaging 18 points a game and shooting better from the field lately. And, Anthony Davis honestly is the perfect fit for Boston because he can shoot the ball, he can rebound, he can protect the paint. He's long, athletic, can switch, can play multiple positions, power forward or the 5, and also he can protect the rim and rebound at a high level at either position. And on top of that, we already have a great defensive scheme and we have solid perimeter defenders. And Kyrie, who has put in more effort, he's still not the best defender, but he's putting a lot more hustle and a lot more effort and a lot more grit. And then you obviously have the athletic forwards, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Even though Brown is really a small forward too, they play him at the 2, which is smart because you got another defender out there. Even though he can be inconsistent every once in a while, it's still fun to have him than not have him at all. And on top of that, Anthony Davis can score. He can post up a little bit. He can knock down the fadeaway. He can score in the pick and roll, can do the pick and pop, can dive to the rim, catch lobs and alley-oops, and he can shoot the 3 with space out the floor, and it allows him to play with Al Horford, who can also shoot post up and knock down pick and roll, picking dives and shoot 3s or mid-range, whether he's open or just in general if they run a play to get him open. And that's what you want. You want a guy that can play with Al Horford and still be able to protect the rim and rebound and still give you versatility offensively and defensively. So, with that being said, we would love to have Anthony Davis. One person said that we want Anthony Davis, we're going to have to give up Gordon Hayward. And that's something that I really question because we don't know how good Gordon Hayward will be for this team because he hasn't played, and you're paying the guy $29 million. That's more than what Anthony Davis made because he only made 24 to 25. But obviously they can make that trade work. But I don't know why would they give up a superstar, a player that's significantly better than Gordon Hayward, and he's locked in for 4 years on his contract. For a guy that's worse and not as good, unless you throw in a Jason Tatum or a couple picks, then I can see, like, oh, let's get a couple picks and a solid player for Anthony Davis. But honestly, I wouldn't do it still because how big the talent gap is, and then you might have to throw in a player just to get somebody else. So I don't really like to trade for the Pelicans, obviously. But for the Celtics, we do have Tatum, we do have Brown, we do have Rozier, we do have people like Marcus Smart that can play multiple roles and don't mind taking a back seat. You still do have solid veterans like Aaron Banks who having a solid season. Marcus Morris is a guy that can play the 3 or the 4 and stretch out the floor and shoot, and he's on a cheap, affordable contract. Obviously, you can package together Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, throw in Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and you can also throw in Baines and a couple picks, and you can match the salary, obviously, of Anthony Davis by giving up a bunch of role players and keeping your regular team intact. But they gonna want more than that probably because Anthony Davis, like I said, is one of the top 7 players in the league, and he's not even in his prime. So I like the trade for the Celtics, obviously. And if you can keep Al Horford, why not keep Kyrie, Al Horford, and Davis, and still have Brown and Tatum? But it might not work like that. You might have to get rid of picks in Tatum or Brown. They probably would take Tatum because he's younger and he can shoot the three. He's more of a glue guy. He can score on and off the ball. He can rebound the basketball. He's efficient. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. He doesn't need to take a lot of shots to get his points. And he, like I said, he can space out the floor and shoot. He also can score in isolation. He's not scared of the big moment. He's not scared to take big shots. And that's something that you want on your team. And he has star potential. And it seems like he can develop into even a better player than he is right now. And that's how you're supposed to look at it if you're the Pelicans, if you're trying to get rid of Anthony Davis. And also another thing is DeMarcus Cousins. This year he's going to be a free agent. So that can be obviously crippling for a team like the Pelicans, knowing that you traded Buddy Hield, a future star probably. He hasn't shown that yet, but he has had games where he's shown that he can be a star. But knowing that Boogie Cousins can leave this year, it does put a little bit of pressure on you because now you have to find a way to keep Boogie. And if you can't keep Boogie, then you start back from zero, which is you just have Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis, which is not good enough to make the playoffs, obviously, because you're going to need the other guy. And even with DeMarcus Cousins, they still stuck at the 7th and 8th spot. They not really great. They not really amazing. They're not dominant. Obviously, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, they're going to get their points regardless. They're going to get their rebounds regardless, but it hasn't led to a lot of wins. Right now, they're 15 and 16. I think they haven't really became a dominant force that nobody can stop, even though they do it individually as a team. Having a guy like Drew Holiday, DeMarcus Anthony Davis all on the same roster haven't really equaled into dominance. It just equaled to mediocrity, even though I wouldn't want to play a team like that in the playoffs because those two guys are that dominant. Um, they still not really that big of a threat, and paying Drew Holiday the money you paid him kind of leave you stuck in mediocrity because nobody's going to really want that contract, even though he's having a career year because you paid him too much money. And I understand that you have to pay the guy because you might not have anything better. Like, it's hard to replace a guy like Drew Holiday. To me, he is an elite player, but is you really going to win a championship with Drew Holiday as your best point guard? Maybe. It depends on the team. But it hasn't really worked out to me with the Pelicans, and I can really see DeMarcus Cousins leaving to play for a better team or even try to play for a team that's more of a contender, unlike the Pelicans that's just good enough and mediocre. They're good enough to make the playoffs, but they're not good enough to win a championship. And they already committed a lot of money to that big three. So they in a bad position. So I can understand if, oh, we losing DeMarcus Cousins, or he leaves in free agency and you have money now that he's gone, and you be like, hey, we lost DeMarcus Cousins, we might as well blow this thing up. Then I can see trading Anthony Davis to Boston because they have a lot of young players and a lot of assets. And even though Danny Ainge is known for ripping people off and giving people the bad trades, and they still trade with them, they still made trades with them. Um, Danny Ainge has a lot of packages and a lot of assets that can give them versatility and also give them potential stars and give them a lot of draft picks in return. So overhaul wide, just like Isaiah Thomas trade, Danny Ainge gave up a lot in that Danny Ainge gave up a lot in that Kyrie Irving trade, and a lot of us were surprised. But he can do the same thing for AD. And if you that's the best trade you can get is from Danny Ainge, why not take it? And like I said, I understand that, but right now they stuck in mediocrity. They not winning enough with this new roster. I don't really think they're persuading Boogie to really stay in New Orleans because they're not really dominating. They barely in the playoffs. Obviously, Boogie never been to the playoffs, and he has the opportunity this year. But they're so far away from a championship to me that I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be disappointed or you know I wouldn't expect him to stay anyway. Just like Paul George and OKC, they haven't really had a dominant, crazy season, but it's because they learning how to play together, and either it's gonna take them more years, or you can go find another team that you want to be with because you obviously one of the best players in the league. A lot of teams have cleared the space to sign you, so you leave and find another team that you really want to be on. That's the whole point of free agency, is to find a team that you have interest in, and sign with those teams and figure it out later. Um, Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Anthony Davis is a perfect fit like me? Can shoot, can space out the floor, can defend multiple positions, can protect the paint, can rebound, and post up and shoot threes. That's basically a complete package offensively and defensively. Do you think they should trade Gordon Hayward? Do you think they should package Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, and a couple picks to get them? I'm not saying trade both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but trade one of them plus all those players plus some draft picks for Anthony Davis. Or do you think we on the right pace already? Let's just grow together. Let's not make a big move. Let's just stay the course and grow together and see if we can win a championship in the future? Or do you think, like me, if you can have a chance to win a championship, you got to go out there and try to get it as fast as possible and win as many as you can? There's a lot of theories, there's a lot of methods, there's a lot of ideas. We all think differently. I just want to give you guys a lot of different perspectives, like I do in every video, and get you thinking and get you excited for the game of basketball. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. If you're watching on Twitter, I got my YouTube account pinned on my Twitter, and I also got my website in the side of the description of my Twitter. If you're on Facebook, I got my YouTube pinned on my Facebook, and also it's a link for my website, analysisplayground.com, on my Facebook page too. Also, like on Facebook, like on YouTube if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe. And also, like I said, check out my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and continue watching on YouTube. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Let me know what you guys think about Anthony Davis getting traded to the Celtics.